Going back to our story, when the vegans had been defeated by the Lyrans,
the vegans migrated to Orion, became more and more associated with this star group, and they began to call themselves the Orions, more or less forgetting about their vegan heritage.
They, in conjunction with the Reptilian Orion Queens, became the notorious and feared Orions.
The vegans even created a frequency net that trapped everybody who lived in Orion and were of vegan humanoid descent in a frequency prison.
Even after death, they were trapped in the Orion Matrix and had no choice but to reincarnate into the Orion system. This was the ultimate control system, and those in charge gained a lot of power because they knew that they had the Orion souls trapped. Beings from outside, who were ignorant about what the frequency net did, with a little smarts, could enter the Orion system from outside, but once inside, they couldn't get out. So it was a closed system. Thus, the reptilians and other races who were aware of this frequency fence had a tendency to avoid the star systems controlled by the vegan Orions. Even the Drakons did. As always, when there is big oppression within a civilization, there is resistance, and so also here. They were called the Black League, and it took them many lifetimes of resistance, living in caves underground, often on hot desert planets, away from civilization, to get this oppression resolved. However, like so many before them, they thought they could meet violence with violence, so they started civil wars against their huge government. This, of course, was a war that could not be won, and eventually the resistance had to flee, fragmented and defeated. The few who survived had to go well into hiding, and it took long before the Black League could get reorganized again. According to Royal Priest, there were some priests who figured out how to raise their vibrations and escape the frequency field. When they had trained themselves spiritually to do this, they looked for a target to escape to, and that target was Earth, the planet that once had been so dear to the vegans. The priests managed to escape and appeared here on Earth mainly during the Lemurian and Atlantis eras, two very important periods in the history of Earth. In the meantime, while the Orion vegans fought their own internal battle, galactic wars of great proportion continued to rage in Sector 9.
When the Lyran took over from the vegans and started spreading out on the planets of our solar system, it was still at the final end of the dinosaur era, so we're talking 65 to 70 million years ago. The Lyrans now started their genetic manipulation program big time, something which eventually ended with the end of the dinosaurs and the creation of primates on Earth. They thought that these beings could eventually be most compatible with their own consciousness. These settlers of Lyran humanoids, once being a dreaded warrior race, now becoming their own creator gods, changed their mindsets quite a bit, and they had a leap in their consciousness and awareness. With time, both they and the vegans tended to forget their origins the more time they spent in this physical universe of free will. And therefore, they also forgot who they were before they came into this universe from a previous one, and what their real goal was. With time, some of these memories came back to them. And they realized that the goal of this universe is to experience how it is to live in a reality where everything goes. And then take this experience back to Source, after which they again can decide whether they want to stay with Source or continue for yet another cycle. By realizing this, everything changed. They no longer felt the urge to violently conquer space or invade other species and claim their real estate. Rather, they now wanted to concentrate on building this living library with their own divine DNA mixed with a genetically manipulated version of themselves, containing all the memories of this universe from beginning to end, all encoded into the DNA of this new species. The memory could be fairly easily encoded by using their own multidimensional 12-strand DNA as a base. The idea was then to have species from elsewhere in the universe donate their DNA to the experiment to have a wider range of experiences connected to the human body. They were well aware of that DNA is not just a physical thing, but if you add DNA from another species to your own, you have an instant connection with the donator from thereon, no matter where in the universe the original donor roams. This way, you would have a biological being whose body works as a living library in itself. By having its DNA fully activated, this species would have its nerve endings expand all over the cosmos. People could come visit Earth from all around and learn from this human species, similar to when you go to a physical library here on Earth. And not only that, the Lyrans also wanted to import plants and animals from all over the universe and have their DNA set up in a certain way, as well as to enhance the living library so that it spans through all dimensions and densities. They also started similar experiments on a few other planets in this galaxy and beyond, but Earth is still quite rare and unique, and its beauty, as we all know, is stunning. Few places in the universe has such diversity. If you step back and look at it with new eyes, it may dawn to you how different all the animals and the plants are from each other. There is an almost endless variety of flora and fauna. Did this all happen by chance? No, almost all of it has been imported from all over the cosmos. Many worlds out there have a sparse variety of animal and plant life, and many planets are desert-like. There is just enough to have the ecological system going. In addition, most aliens don't eat meat, and neither do the animals. It's mostly on strictly third-density worlds, and especially those which are operating within a very narrow frequency, that life forms eat each other. Therefore, a wide variety is not necessarily needed. Also, on more planets than we can imagine, the life forms live inside the planet, not on the surface. So, why is all this variety here on Earth? Well, although beauty has to do with it, it's just part of the reason. The plants, herbs, and vegetables are our natural pharmacy. In the Middle Ages, people knew how to use the living library to boost their immune systems, cure diseases, and expand their reality. Marijuana, hemp, and hashish are examples on the mild end, and they are all there to be used, in moderation I should add. Over time, this knowledge has been suppressed by the power that be big time to keep the population in line, to keep the sheep in the fold, so to speak. Even more so the last 100 years or so, when Big Pharma started making money on people's illnesses. They couldn't allow any competition from the living library, so they either outlawed certain plants, like marijuana, or simply suppressed the knowledge by ridiculing it.